Welcome to the apocalypse.
This is an example of one of the factions in the game. This is a Lightbearer, which are a faction that basically believe the Shiva virus that killed everyone, the mutations that it brought on, are a possible path to enlightenment. They are very big on the idea that everyone can reach enlightenment if they try, but mutants are probably going to be better at it. There are Lightbearers who believe that they should just kill off all the non-mutant humans and get them out of the way because they're holding everybody back. Basically, they are one of the 6 factions players can join. Each of those 6 factions has sort of like a good guy aspect, and these guys, it's the helping people reach enlightenment and healing people and doing good works, and the not so good element is let's kill all those normal humans because they're just getting in the way. The guys we're seeing in here are actually members of another faction called the Enforcers. They are sort of the remains of the military from before the fall. They very much about law and order, restoring the old world, rebuilding, and they're big into guns and armor and discipline and organization. Each of these factions has allied factions that basically work with it. For example, the Enforcers and the Lightbearers work together because one group's about enlightenment and serenity, and the other group's about bringing law and order. Those are compatible. But each faction also has factions that it does not work with. For example, the archenemy of the Enforcers are a group called the Chota, or the Children of the Apocalypse. They are all about anarchy and tearing down the remains of the old world. They don't want to have any law and order. Here, his task in the tutorial is to use this ability called Stanch Wound to bind the injuries of these wounded soldiers. And so basically, we're teaching players the basics of here's how you use special abilities. Use special attacks, things of that nature, so when they get out into the world, they know how to do all this stuff. So you've got to heal these 2 guys up, so in a minute, when you get into a fight, they can actually hop up and help you. So we've got the toolbar. It's pretty much the sort of industry standard. You can drag out the toolbar to expand the number of slots in it. Only 1 through 10 will correspond with a numerical key, but you can basically give yourself as many slots as you want. You can drag it around. All the UI elements are movable, and also they can be made transparent. So if you want to have a window up but you don't really want to have it blocking your view as much, you can right-click on it and make basically the window transparent, and makes it easier to have more stuff up on your screen. But he's basically healed the 2 Enforcers, so you can talk to the Enforcer Commander again and finish that mission out. In the game, basically we use missions we have about 6,000-ish missions players can find in the game, spread about 3 sectors of gameplay with 70 towns, so you have a huge amount of content. These missions range from, basic find me some items, go talk to this guy, to we've got all kinds of... my favorite type is the raid mission, where a bunch of NPCs will spawn to help you go attack an enemy camp. We've got a lot of... basically got a lot of different missions in the game, and a lot of different types of missions. We have about 25 different mission types at this point that we can run players through, and through using tricks like chaining them together or getting them from different NPCs, we can create a very wide variety of experiences. The green gas you see there is basically the sort of the meta tag for, hey, you can loot me. And so it's basically you just loot people, take all their gear. You can't loot other players in our PvP system. We just figured that would be... we want to have a PvP system that really encourages people to take part without being punitive, or too punitive, I should say, because you need to have a certain critical mass of people in PvP for it to be fun, so they don't want people to feel like, I don't want to get into PvP because I'm going to lose all my shit. So we want people to, really, really get involved in it. But he's going to head up this elevator in a minute. You can go. We'll see some of the mutant critters we've got in the game. But backing up to PvP real quick, since we're on an elevator, all of our PvP is zone-based. If you're walking around the world and you get near a PvP zone, a little symbol, message pops up saying, "Hey, you're about to enter a PvP zone." If you keep walking, you go into the PvP zone. If you don't, you can be shot by anybody. If you don't, you stay out of the PvP zone, no one can attack you. So it's very much consensual PvP. If you don't want to PvP, don't go in the zone. But if you go in the zone, you are open ground for anybody. There's no faction limitation on who you can shoot. You can shoot anyone you want. So you really have to check your targets to make sure you're shooting the guys you want to be shooting. Otherwise, you could lose faction points, things of that nature. Anytime you die in a PvP zone, you do resurrect in safe territory in a LifeNet pod, so you can't really be griefed more than once without letting yourself, basically, somebody kills you once, you can get away. You can always get away from them. And, if you go back and get killed again, well, you went back. So that's your fault. When you die, you get a debuff on you. Initially, it's just an XP debuff, but eventually it will become a physical debuff if you die enough times in quick succession.